Chapter 15. Be Teachable. I asked for help from Tessa for my personal development, and I was blessed to receive Father Paul's guidance for my spiritual growth. But I knew I needed coaches for my professional development as well. We stop growing if we think we have little left to learn. A core part of any team is the coach. Athletes only make it to the Olympics with a good coach. They need someone to push them, train them, and help them be better. We all need coaches. I would have never been able to build live action were it not for the coaches I sought out, good men and women who generously helped me along the way. I saw the importance of accepting coaching early on when a friend helped me get Live Action's first website up and running. I was still in college at the time, but I was routinely doing media interviews about our investigative journalism, and we sometimes saw a spike in website traffic after an appearance. My friend had been careful to include a support button on our website, and it was usually after a new investigative release that would get some unexpected donations. One afternoon, I got back to my apartment after class and saw that someone had donated $1,000 online. I immediately did a Google search and discovered that he was the CEO and founder of his own company. I was acquainted with only a handful of business leaders and entrepreneurs at the time, and was eager to find advisors to help guide Live Action's growing platform. I wanted to thank this new donor, but I also thought he might be able to help us with more than a financial contribution. A little nervous, I picked up the phone and dialed his number. A receptionist picked up. "Hello, how can I help you?" "Hi, my name is Lila Rose with the group Live Action." I asked if the donor was available to talk. "Can you hold, please?" I had prepared what I wanted to say by Googling how to talk to a donor and finding a helpful resource. The basic message went something like this: thank donors profusely. Find out what they are passionate about. Find out why they donated. Get to know them. Ask if you can share with them the impact of their dollars. Ask how you can best stay in touch. The donor and I talked for 10 minutes, and he expressed surprise that I had called him. "Most of the time when I donate, I don't hear from the organization for months," he said. "I donated today, and the president of the organization calls me." I may be the president, I thought, but I'm also the only staff. I kept that little detail to myself. I learned that our donor was a driven and brilliant self-starter who had built his company from scratch and was deeply passionate about causes that defended the most vulnerable. When I asked if he would give me business advice, he said he would, and he did, generously. As a high-achieving CEO, he taught me the importance of self-care as a leader. Managing the responsibilities of a company, or in my case a nonprofit, and the huge mission of Live Action can be never-ending and all-consuming. My donor encouraged me to take time each day to sweat, to exercise intensely so that I could keep up with the mental and emotional intensity of my job. We also had long talks about my relationships with my staff. As a boss, I had to be careful with my words and my behavior. What I said and did carried extra weight because of my position of authority and could be easily misunderstood. It was a long distance from my early days of activism where I partnered with peers, not employees. Eventually, the donor would also pay for a corporate coach to do a series of life-changing sessions with me and another team member. He has remained a friend and mentor to this day. Some years later, a friend introduced me to another entrepreneur with a huge heart for the pro-life cause who also agreed to coach me. Each week by phone, we discussed the challenges I faced personally as a leader and the challenges Live Action faced as an organization. He gave me the framework to think about strategic planning and the creation of monthly, yearly, and multi-year plans for our organization. Every week, we reviewed my personal progress toward those goals, as well as the progress of my team. Thanks to his incredibly helpful guidance, I was able to anticipate and solve problems I would not have been able to solve on my own. Sometimes you need a coach to give you the organizational equivalent of a halftime talk. I was reminded of this when prepping footage for release of one of our national investigations. A PR firm for which we had broken our budget was helping with statements, op-eds, media relations, and interview booking. I had asked the firm to assign its best writer to our case and was assured we would get the best of everything. It did not work out that way. The press release I got back sounded boring to me. How had someone on the firm's team managed to make such a bombshell investigation sound boring? What am I paying them for anyway? I asked myself and hurried off to an interview. After a few meetings en masse, I got back to my computer feeling frustrated. The PR firm was not giving me or this project serious attention. We were in the middle of a major media campaign exposing Planned Parenthood, and we needed to do better getting our message out. I knew I couldn't be a one-woman editorial board. I called up a mentor of mine and complained to him. "They aren't taking me seriously," I said. "If I weren't 21-year-old woman, I feel like they would do a better job with the stuff they are sending me." "You need to tell them what you think and ask them to do better," my mentor said. "I have done that," I said, exasperated. "I told them to assign their best people." "Well, you have to call him and talk to him man to man. Forget that you're a woman and you're only 21. You are paying them top dollar, and this is really important. Don't let anyone look down on you because you're young." "Okay," I said. I hated the idea of having conflict with one of our vendors, especially at such a crucial time. How would he respond? "Can I practice saying to you what I'll say to him?" I asked my mentor. "Of course. Go for it." We went through the scenario a few times together, and then I emailed the account lead. "Hey, Sam, can you chat for a few minutes?" He was quick to respond, and we jumped on the phone. "Sam?" I said as calmly as I could, given how nervous I felt about being so direct. "The last op-ed was simply not accessible. I need you to find a better writer." This was a demand, not a request. Sam heard the difference in my voice. Suddenly his tone shifted. "You got it, Lila. Okay. Enzo will do the writing." Enzo was one of their senior leaders, and I knew personally he was a great writer. "Thanks, Sam," I said. "I really appreciate it." They got the message. From then on, the writing was markedly better. I got my coach's message too. Now, go out there, Lila, and win that game. To stand up for life means standing up for smaller, more tangible objectives along the way. We have to demand better from ourselves and sometimes from the people we work with. A good coach can remind us. This is really easy. Holding others accountable makes most of us uncomfortable, especially if we don't like conflict. If the cause is important, then mediocre cannot become the norm. When the best is demanded, we cannot talk ourselves out of conflict by seeking refuge in our age or sex or any other seeming limitation. Nor can we expect our coaches to do our work for us. To stand up is to grow up and demand better. Any number of professional people are qualified to teach and guide us. Many of them are more than willing to serve as a coach, especially if they believe in our cause. Chances are that they are often asked for money or jobs or other favors. Rarely are they asked for their wisdom. Another invaluable mentor of mine is organizational guru Pat Lencioni. I met Pat through Joanna, one of Live Action's team members and brave investigative reporters. Having learned to seek out the best mentors she could find, Joanna called Pat out of the blue. As part of Live Action's training, Joanna had read some of his books. After checking out his bio, Joanna noticed they had a connection. Both she and Pat had graduated from Claremont McKenna College. Sensing an opportunity, Joanna sent an email explaining her work for a nonprofit and noting their shared alma mater. Upon reading it, Pat decided to make time for a call. When he discovered we did pro-life work, he excitedly shared that it was a passion of his too, and he volunteered to help us in any way he could. Thanks to Joanna's smart initiative, Pat became a mentor for us and generously donated whole days of his valuable time to help our team. Finding the right people to ask for advice may take some trial and error. Over the years, not everyone I have asked is available to give me advice, and even fewer are available to do regular coaching. But ultimately, finding coaches doesn't need to be complicated. It mainly requires a willingness to keep asking for advice from people we admire and respect, and then a commitment to show up regularly when someone agrees to help. Ask yourself, who do I know who is more experienced than me, who also cares about my cause? Who is someone I admire both personally and professionally? Maybe it's someone you've met through your faith community, through friends or family, or through community service activities. Perhaps it's someone who financially supports good causes, or someone who already volunteers. It can be easy to get excited about finding the right person, one you can call and with whom you can occasionally meet, but maintaining this communication requires commitment from both of you. A coach has to take his or her role very seriously. That requires a commitment of time and patience. We, the coaches, need a teachable and humble spirit. We must prioritize the time with our coaches and do the homework they suggest. Consistency is critical. So is honesty about our weaknesses. While it may not come easily, we need to be open and candid about our struggles. As humble students, we must be willing to acknowledge the truth about ourselves, the good and the bad, and all we have left to learn. As we grow, our pursuit of the truth should only intensify. No matter our age, a teachable spirit is key to growth.